Hey guys, Swamp Clearer here, back with another big video for you. Now I know you guys probably have already been hearing about this on social media because this is blowing up everywhere. You heard on Fox, that's the only cable news network to even cover this in the slightest degree. All the other mainstream medias are in a complete blackout about this. Well, that's not too hard to believe because this involves Democrats again. This involves the Awan brothers IT scandal. Now, this is big. Now, if you guys want to have a very, very detailed, descriptive information breakdown for you, I will link the video that Stefan Molyneux did the other day in the description, and that has a very detailed account, step by step, what the Awan brothers are doing, and the timeline, and affiliates of them, and who were they connected to. But I'm going to do a general breakdown for you here, and this all started for you back in February 2nd, when the Awan brothers were barred from access to the House of Representatives servers and barred access to sensitive material and their computers. Now, the reason for this is because they were displaying some very suspicious activity. They were not showing up for meetings. They weren't doing their IT jobs correctly. They were on a extremely high government salary, very high for contractors, and they were siphoning off money to Pakistan. That's what Imran was doing, and that's what he did just before he was arrested the other day, trying to flee the country. He siphoned off $300,000 from the congressional payroll account and sent it to Pakistan, where his wife was already. Was he creating himself a nest egg? Was he getting out of Dodge and trying to get himself a nice juicy little nest egg to sit on? That's what I think, but that's just speculation. I'm just throwing things out here. Now, this guy, Imran, and his two brothers, Abid and Jamal, who were lesser cohorts, but Imran is the main guy, he worked with Debbie Wasserman Schultz closely since 2005. And since 2007, he was on the government payroll, and he worked for many House Democrats and had access to many servers, a lot of information, and he was pretty much under the radar for a long time. But I think he got too brazen, and he was getting too comfortable with his tactics, because red flags were starting to pop up, and the FBI and the Capital City Police, or the Capitol Police, were starting to get on his case. Now, they were siphoning off money, which is, bad enough. But they were also siphoning off sensitive information to off-site servers, which, don't we already know that's extremely illegal to do? Hillary Clinton, don't you know this? Come on now. Anyway, these guys, as soon as they got barred on February 2nd, House Democrats started cutting ties with them left, right, and center. Some of them were saying, oh, we fired him from our office. He's not allowed to have access to our material. Some House Democrats were completely unaware of this, and they didn't even know what was going on. And others were actually trying to defend them with some kind of racial ploy or discrimination ploy about their race or their religion because they're Muslims. But that didn't fly. That's not going to that's not going to have any water when it comes to the Capitol Police, because they were in hardcore investigation mode. They had real hard evidence to assume that these guys were doing some naughty business and sending our information over to Pakistan, or what I'm going to get into a little bit later, actual terrorist organizations. If you want to talk about collusion, if you want to talk about colluding with a foreign power, that right there is the definition of it. Siphoning off information to off-site sources so that affiliates from around the world, such as a terrorist organization like Hezbollah or the Muslim Brotherhood, could have direct access to that. That is extremely damning, okay? Now, what's funny about this is that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who directly hired these guys, kept Imran on up until his arrest the other day. So she had him on the payroll still, and she paid him retroactively for 5 months before his arrest. So she was going to assume that he was going to be able to keep doing what he was doing and that he wasn't going to get caught. But now she's in a lot of hot water herself because a lot of this stuff is coming back to her. A little side note is that dozens of vetted companies would have done this IT work that the Imrams were doing, and like they were doing it half-assed. A lot of these IT companies would have done it for cheaper, and they were vetted because before they were even hired, before Imran was even hired, he has a very questionable law record. He has a lot of driving on suspended licenses. He's got a lot of resisting arrest or being very aggressive with the police officers. They've been caught up, him and his brothers have been caught up in all kinds of fraud scandals, tax fraud, insurance fraud, bank fraud. Doesn't seem like these are the kind of people that you want to be working in IT and around very sensitive information, especially when it comes to possibly classified information, people's personal information. Who knows what they were doing when they got into their offices and like writing code or setting up new hardware. They were probably just setting up dummy accounts and siphoning off the information while keeping a duplicate on file. So it looks like, oh, we're just copying and putting it to a new hard drive so then we can upgrade your systems later. But remember, these guys were doing it half-assed. They were barely showing up for their jobs. They weren't showing up for meetings, and they weren't following regulations a lot of the time. That's why they got popped up on the radar. Now, there's another big red flag that I'm going to talk about, which Stefan Molyneux gets into, and these brothers had what I believe, and this is pretty much cut and dry in my opinion, is that they had a front company which was called Cars International A, acronym CIA. Ha ha ha. Could be nothing, could be something, who knows. But this company was bleeding money left, right, and center. Like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, this car company. So there's a red flag going there if they have no income coming in from the legitimate source of selling cars, and then having hundreds of thousands of dollars being mysteriously dumped out of the company. And a lot of creditors were popping up and saying, hey, this is kind of suspicious. There's this one creditor, his name is Rao Abbas, and he should have sided with the people going against the lawsuit that was brought against this car company for their questionable practices. But because he gave them a $100,000 loan. But apparently he sided with the Imran brothers, and the lawsuit went nowhere because it was considered null and void because you had people, he said, she said, so it couldn't go anywhere. And apparently, right after he sided with them in the lawsuit, he popped up on the congressional payroll with a salary of $250,000. Oh, and a side note, before he started being a creditor, he worked at McDonald's, and he got fired from McDonald's. So apparently he's not good enough to flip burgers, but he's good enough to be a creditor with hundreds of thousands of dollars moving through his name, and being an accomplice to people who had access to extremely sensitive information and who were siphoning off money themselves and who were sending all this money off-site, sending all this money off, or all this information off-site as well. So these are huge red flags, and this is the definition of the swamp. That's why I'm here. I've got my waders on, I've got my heavy-duty drainage pump, it's working overtime, and I need extra hands. So you guys spread this information around. Check out Stefan Molyneux's video. Check out all the other social media on this. This is blowing up. There's a hashtag Awan Brothers, hashtag Debbie Wasserman Schultz. All this is just blowing up, and the mainstream media is crickets. Yep, that's right, crickets. Except for Fox News, who has dabbled in it a little bit the past couple of days, but everyone else, nothing. You don't hear from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, nothing. Now, a little side note as well to this is that another creditor who was involved in this CIA, this Cars International A, which again, I'm so convinced that this is a front company. This has to be a front. This has to be where they've been siphoning the money off-site to launder it, to clean it up, and then they can send it off to Pakistan, send it off to whoever that they were affiliated with, and I'm about to get into that right now. This other creditor, his name was Dr. Ali Al-Attar, and his license was revoked in 2011 for very questionable practices, and with him and his associates when it comes to bank fraud again. God, these people and their fraud. Why can't you just make any money legitimately? Why do you have to fraud people out of it? They're also billing insurance companies for medical practices that they never even did to anybody. So they were getting money from insurance. They were committing bank fraud as well. And the FBI raided that guy's office in 2009, but no charges were ever brought. And just like Stefan Molyneux said, who was the president at the time? Oh yeah, Barack Obama. So that could be something, that could be nothing again. Now, what has been happening has big, huge implications. There's so much more information here, credible information, that shows that the DNC, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the linchpin of this when it comes to the DNC side, was allowing this blatant abuse of procedure, blatant abuse of vital records, sensitive material, and a blatant abuse of the congressional payroll to allow these brothers to scurry around Capitol Hill and do whatever they wanted to do, pretty much without any oversight. She was the one holding all the keys. She was the one guarding all the doors, and she has been trying to cover her ass because she, back in March, she even threatened the police chief who was doing this investigation with consequences, and she happens to be on the committee which funds the Capitol Police. So that is a clear conflict of interest. She was trying to cover for these guys' asses. What do they have on her that is making her bend around like a pretzel and do these things which are completely illegal? If you look at this in retrospect, this is so much bigger than Russia. Screw Russia and Trump. We've been on that for almost a year now, or over a year, and there's nothing there. But this year, in just since February to now, all this information comes to light with the Awan brothers. So this is major red flags, huge swamp monsters trolling around the Capitol Hill, and these guys had the run of the roost. They were able to hop between office and office, collect information, or set up hardware, or set up software under the guise of we're doing our jobs, but all the while they were siphoning off information, siphoning off money off-site. Now, before Imran got arrested, he could feel the walls were closing in on him, so he rented out his house to military families, because I think he was trying to liquefy his assets, and he was going to beat feet and get the hell out of the country. But what happened was, he didn't quite clean out his shit, because the military service member who was renting out the place found a lot of suspicious and questionable material, as in destroyed hard drives, software material, and he let the authorities know. He let the FBI know. They came and investigated. They took all the smashed hard drives and everything. And this guy, this Imran, went crazy. He was like, "Uh-oh, walls closing in. I'm getting out of here." So he booked it to the airport. He already had his wife in Pakistan. She left a little bit before him. She left with $12,000 in hard cash. He had $12,000 in hard cash for him. And a few days before that he was about to leave, he siphoned $300,000 from the congressional payroll and sent it directly to Pakistan. Who are their contacts there? Like, does he have contacts there? Was he giving people payouts? Was he giving himself a nest egg? Who knows? But all this is massive. We need to keep on top of this. We need to spread those links. Check it out at Infowars.com. Check out Stefan Molyneux's video. Spread the hashtags, Awan Brothers. Spread the hashtags Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We need to get this stuff trending and keep it trending because we've got them. This is the collusion that we're talking about. It's not Russia. It's not Syria. It's the DNC itself working with affiliates of the Muslim Brotherhood. Oh yes, and the connection to the Muslim Brotherhood and the connection to Hezbollah. That guy, that Dr. Ali Al-Attar, who was a creditor of the CIA front company, and I'm just going to call it a front company because what else do you have a car company for if you're not making profit? You're just blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars year by year by year. This guy was spotted in 2012 in Lebanon talking to Hezbollah officials, and who were also connected to the Muslim Brotherhood in Libya. So here we go, guys. We've got these guys. They're on the run. The Empire is on the run, guys. Just like you got from InfoWars, just like you get from understanding and knowing how groups of people work to help themselves. They cover each other's backs, and there's conflicts of interest everywhere. I know there was a little bit of rambling there, but I got so much stuff going through my mind. This is just crazy. So we need to stay on top of this, guys. We need to drain that swamp, because this is the definition of swampiness. These people are horrible people. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is probably a traitor to the United States, and that's why she is completely in a mental breakdown at this point. She cannot function, I've heard. She is completely destitute. She's mulling around. She can't do anything. She's going nuts because she knows she's got caught red-handed with this. So forget Trump Russia, even though the mainstream media wants to keep you thinking about Trump Russia, Trump Russia, 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 Trump. Apparently, Russia has ties to Russia. Who knew? Putin is a Russian operative. Wow. Okay. But anyway, Awan brothers, IT scandal with the House of Representatives servers. They were siphoning off money, siphoning off information off-site to other servers and to other hardware. Very illegal. Come on, Hillary, you know it's illegal. You were doing it too. But these guys were siphoning off to who knows where. At least Hillary had that in her bathroom. But these guys were siphoning off to who knows where. Could have been siphoning off to the Muslim Brotherhood. Could have Hezbollah. ISIS even. Who knows? But these guys were under the gun, and they flinched. They tried to run. Iran got arrested. Abid and Jamal, they are the lesser conspirators, plus they're two of their wives. They are all watching each other's backs. One hand washes the other. Alright, guys. But this is Swamp Cleaner Harry. I'm going to be signing off. Remember to check out my Twitter. That's at the Swamp Cleaner. And remember to drop a like on this, share this video. But if you want more details, check out the link I have for Stefan Molyneux's video. And I will see you guys later. Let's make America great again. And let's stop all these damn leaks. Stop all this hacking. And we will get down to the bottom of this. Let's go.